Good morning. My name is Idan Kantor, and I am from Boise, New Jersey, and I intend to major in chemistry. Now, can everyone here do me a favor and look at this girl here and picture her as your daughter? Now, what is a logical thing you would do if your daughter was sick? As fellow STEM minds, I believe you will all come to the same conclusion: send her to the doctor. But a large portion of our society today has a vastly different answer to this. And this portion of society derives from the anti-science culture. Now, this culture is actually not a new thing in America. 90 years ago, in Dayton, Tennessee, a climactic event occurred called the Scopes monkey trial. Here, John Scopes was charged for teaching evolution in his high school class. But the ruling of this court case actually resolved the issue at this time. But 100 years later, and this issue is still prevalent in our society, which is epitomized through the debate between Bill Nye the Science Guy and Ken Ham, who stood for religion. Although religion used to be the sole opponent against science, this is not the case anymore. Now, the big issue is global climate change. The UN recently had a meeting comprised of hundreds of esteemed scientists who all came to the conclusion that global climate change has been affected by humans. Yet, what CNN showed is that only 40% of Americans currently actually believe in that statement. So, a professor from Yale University, Dan Gahan, he was curious about this and theorized that the reason why so many Americans don't believe in these scientific findings is because they're simply not scientifically literate. So what he did was he did a study of over 1,500 Americans who were all scientifically literate to find out if this was the case. So what he found out, which first is what he believed, that if you're passionate about it and you actually are scientifically literate, that being literate about this topic will actually make you more passionate. But to his surprise, the passion came to both sides of the spectrum, regardless of which one is right. So what this shows is actually that actually researching online and reading articles is not going to gear you towards the right direction, but it only polarizes you to where you stood originally with your preconceived notions. And this occurs because of a psychological phenomenon called confirmation bias. So confirmation bias works that if you're researching something and you find something that goes against what you believe, you're just going to take it, throw it out, and completely forget about it. But when you research something and you find the fact that bolsters your argument, you're going to keep it and remember it. And this is what happens now. But even though global climate change is a big issue, there's actually a more pressing issue that is occurring in our society today. And that is vaccinations. So if you go 50 years back from now, when a doctor told you to take a shot, you listened. And why is that? It's because you don't know any better. I mean, who am I, who has not researched anything about vaccinations, to know something? Instead, I have a doctor who has went to school for so many years about medicine to tell me what to do. But this is not the case anymore. Now, CNN shows that over half the states do not adhere to the government's standards for a percentage of the population to be vaccinated for MMR, which is measles, mumps, and rubella. So, then the question is now, this revival of science, of the anti-science culture, where did it come from? So the answer to that is the internet itself. Because with the creation of the internet, before it, there was only 3 real places where you would get your information from: prestigious universities, encyclopedias, and credible news sources. But this is not the case anymore. Now in our society, everyone has a right to speak, which means every single person can post on the internet their views, regardless if it's true, regardless if it's credible. So because of this is why when we are searching facts, Americans develop a false sense of intellect, because they will understand one fact, but they don't truly understand the entire topic. An example of this is you could go online and you could find an instance where an infant was killed because of a vaccination. But what the people don't understand is that even if one infant was killed from vaccination, the CDC projected that 16,000 lives that year was saved by that same vaccination. So the topic is, the whole point is that what I want you to take away from this talk is not for you to pick a side, science or anti-science. Instead, you have to understand, you have to go back and realize that both sides have value. So as Professor Dan Kahan showed, is you can't just choose a side and research it because of the false facts that are on the internet. Instead, what I want you to take away from this talk is a curiosity that is going to compel you to take a step back from your side, look at both sides of the argument as an unbiased person, and then, as that, you're going to look back and find out the truth for yourself. Thank you.